Okay. I've stopped and restarted it. Let me know when it's live again. Okay, I think it should be good. We had a little technical difficulty there with our stream, but I think I'm back. Okay, so as I was saying, I don't know if where I got cut out. So basically, you can just do a roll here. If you succeed, you're basically going to follow the success path. If you fail, you go to the fail path. So you're just linking together little nodes to do this. But let's keep playing for now. So now on my way back to camp, I'm starting to reminisce about the times of old. I'm remembering the first time I saw a towel. White wings spread across a full moon. I chucked a canteen at Brevik to wake him. Ah, what was that for? I saw a towel. So you beamed me with a canteen? Sorry, I didn't mean to crit you, but look, you point up. That's the moon, not a towel. Now toss me an actual towel. I can't tell if I'm wet or bleeding. So you can tell your own little stories like that with the, as you saw with these sort of popsicle stick puppets. You just import an image, you say what they want, what you want them to say. You can import sound lines there, so everything could be voiced if you wanted it to. Now we're entering a hub. So hubs are going to provide players with choices of what to do next. I'm going to decide to forage. Oh my goodness, a nat 1. Look at that. So I only had to roll a 2, and I rolled a 1. So there are no certainties in this world. Let's see. Now I roll a 15. Okay, so I got another question coming in. Can you play Pop-Up Dungeon cooperatively, or will it be single player only? You can do it through, well, when the game launches, and currently, you can do it through Steam Remote Play, but we hope to eventually develop a little bit more of the multiplayer elements to it. Definitely, it's something that you can attempt. So now that I found, what did I find? A mushroom. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to try to cook it. Let's see what I can do. I have to identify it first.
There is a storm on.
Oh my goodness, I'm on a streak. I'm on a streak. That's 2 1s. Alright, so you know, lots of mushrooms look very much alike. So we're presented with an option now. Should we make like a Mario and trust the fungus? A little reference to the Super Mario Bros. Movie for you super fans out there. Or should we just discard the mushroom? Well, it's going to be more fun to make like a Mario for the purposes of the stream. And my luck continues. Severe stomach contractions. Maybe you should have washed them better. So this will be bad for me once I get into a fight. We'll see what happens. This has let me know that afternoon is settled in. One of the things that's happening as I go through this loop is I'm just increasing hours. This is just the passing of time. So I can collect things and I can go hunting and things like that. But meanwhile, time is passing by and eventually night will fall.
Here comes the maelstrom.
So now I'm got another question coming in. The question is from Mr. Mikio, number 1. Can you import-export characters from one story to another? Kind of have it set up like an AD&D adventure modules. Absolutely, yeah. So any character that you create, any enemy that you create, anything that you create, in fact, equipment, abilities, effects, all of these things can go from campaign to campaign. Particularly characters are something that are not limited to campaigns at all. You can lock campaigns to actually require basically a certain set of party members in order to actually play, but that's completely up to the creator. Normally, elements can go from one to the other with no problems at all. Okay, let's see what we got here. This is going to be a little tough. As you can see, the mushrooms that I ate have hurt me. Now, I happen to know that whenever I start, I may throw up because of the mushrooms, so I'm going to position myself in such a way that will hopefully not have me throw up on my other teammates.
Trust the axe.
So we'll do it this way, and this boar is going to be a bit of a problem, but I think Orin can stun him. We'll see.
The darkness will
Ever
not rise.
is the magic of man.
Here we go.
For This darkness,
let's show you what happens when I
darkness will not rise.
throw up on a friend.
Let the light be your armor.
Okay, now we'll see what happens. That is a field effect. Field effects are like traps. Traps can be executed once, or they trigger one time, and then they don't trigger again. Fields can be triggered multiple times. So we'll leave this guy right there on that field. And for now, I'm just going to move to protect Orin from this boar here.
Long have I watched man.
So he's going to throw up on this tree. Oh, that was a... It's not good for that tree. Okay, now I'm going to stun this boar.
Strike precisely where I mean.
And one nice thing about this is I can actually control the flow of time as well, the sort of speed. I'll show you what I mean here in a sec. Let's see if we can bring down this elk.
Strike you down.
Not quite. This is a charged ability, so I'm going to start charging on this boar over here. And the next time it's my turn, Orb Lightning will go off. So here comes this elk. This elk can't really do much to Magnor here, so
I love to raid.
he's going to pass his turn. Now, let's see what Magnor can do to this elk.
This beats ruin.
He can push him back. We knew that was going to happen.
This beats ruin.
But you got to trigger that elk. So these are reactive abilities, and that, by the way, was the field there that just went off. But these are reactive abilities. Reactive abilities are really neat because they obviously, as the name implies, react to things. So this elk will react to anyone who tries to attack it in melee. But I can attack it from range, and it won't react to me. So you have full control over the way that you create those abilities and your reactions. Here we're just going to scratch this boar. And I think Orin will be able to handle that other boar. We'll see. So like as I was saying, this is how speed control would work. So I can go slow motion. And you can control the amount of slow motion. Right now I'm super slow-mo. Or I can speed things up. And you can speed things up to 3 times. It's something you can toggle. So if things are kind of going slow for you, you can always speed it up. And if you want to see animation or effects or something like that, then you can always slow things down.
Come on.
So that does it for that level. Let's see what we find. So these are neat. These books here are something that's going to actually edit an ability during a run. So this is to conserve AP. It's suggesting that I give it to Chimazine's Cat Scratch, but I can choose which to give it to. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Bite the Hand. So now this ability will actually be only 2 AP. And we'll give some defense to Chimazine as well. We're getting the cat to be the carry here. Oh, almost had another one. Success. So we get some bones out of it. This is just a little flag appending that you can add to your nodes automatically, so that you don't have to know what's going to happen in order to be able to tell the player what's going to happen. And now we're moving on to evening. So as you can see, there was a lighting change there. That's something you can control as well. Now I'm given the choice to rest, to hunt, to forage. Let's see if we can cook again. This time we'll see about cooking a little steak. Okay, so that was good. Now we'll start resting up for the night. I want to be caught unawares. We'll light a fire. This was using the wood that we collected. Now something stirs in the dark.
First we fight, then we feast.
So, although you can't actually create your own levels here, handcrafted that is, you can select what level you're going to load into. So in this case, I would select camp, and that way I'm automatically given this procedurally generated camp. It'll be a little bit different once in a while, but most of the time you're going to get this kind of an effect. You can control what time of day it is, you can control the size, you can control the atmosphere, the sound, all of these things, so that basically you're given plenty of control for making things look and sound the way you want, but you don't have to sit there and handcraft every level that you're going to want to run. So here I'm going to take a look at the turn order and know that this guy is going to go first. I'm going to try to actually just block him off, probably using Magnor here. And we'll put Claire in range to see if he needs to heal Magnor just in case. I might hit Shinazine from there, so we'll leave her there. Let's start. So what you're seeing here, the blue bubble represents your AP, the green bubble represents your... Oh, he sneaks something in. What a sneaky, sneaky little imp. Well, she's going to be back.
Who needs saving?
So you can see that he has to obey line of sight, but he actually does have line of sight there. Just snuck it right in. Got me with an advanced chess move. Let's see. Probably going to want to stun this. So one other thing about fiends, which these are definitely fiends, is that they reflect damage. So if I went really hard on them and started doing a lot of DPS, then I'm going to actually have to suffer the consequences. I'll get some of the damage reflected back at me.
I love to raid.
So let's see how that works. He has some life siphon, I believe. So he should be okay. That was a good hit. And Chimazine should be able to finish him off. Indeed she can. And use her oversized kitty paw. And now we'll just hope that Claire has mercy on my soul when she's confused.
Effort is the magic of man.
So you can see he's hurt there because that just ticked. It was on a delay. And we'll see what happens if I do Rolling Thunder. 79 was reflected, so we're still okay, and we'll finish him off with a Tempest. And I don't think we'll need to do this, but we'll just start charging an Orb Lightning. If all else fails. Now let's see what this little Spitfire is going to do. Yeah, he's going to go for my wizard. And he's back. And very confused.
Oh, here comes the mail.
So this should be it.
This beats ruin.
To sound like a tutorial.
Uh-oh. You see, right there, that reaction happened from Claire because she's confused, so she has a 50% chance of triggering or to target the other faction. So she actually tried to heal the imp in her confusion, but it wasn't enough to overcome Magnor's damage.
Odin will be pleased.
So right now, let's see, I got another question coming in from Jules, my dog. Is this game a narrative game? It can be, actually. So I'm going to go back to the table here in just a second. And you're going to see that basically within this table, and this is the map right here that I talked about earlier, that you can bring up a full screen image, so you can do this for cutscenes and whatnot. So once you're on the table, you can do dialogue, you can do story-driven nodes like this that tell stories with images, text, sound, whatever you want. You can actually create an entire, campaign that doesn't have any tactical combat in it if you wanted to. It could be an interactive narrative. You could make a personality quiz if you wanted to. You've got these flags here that you earn throughout your run. So you have full control over that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hop over to some of the creation tools to show you how that's going to look. And then I'll come back and play this some more. So we're going to get out of here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to hop over to my charm screen, so I can talk about that first. And so this is my charms. This is what was responsible right here for the resurrections, the Sweetwater charm. But I have an evasion charm, power. I have a little critical chance and speed. So this is my collection down here. You can buy tokens with the gold that you earn. You will also sometimes earn tokens. Ooh, I got an upgrade there. So sometimes your tokens will upgrade. There's just a small chance of that happening. Making up for some of my ones. Oh, so this is a really good one. This is haste. So that lets you use the same ability more than once per turn. It's basically just removing the cooldown of an ability. So I could swap out haste for this evasion if I wanted to. And then now all my party will receive these benefits. So they'll get 25% haste. They'll get all of these things here. I've got another question coming in. Any idea what this game's official release date will be, or is it still too far off? And no, it is not still too far off. It's going to be in August, and it's very likely going to be August 12th, though that will be made official very, very soon. And although, of course, we call it a release, we are definitely going to continue supporting more content and improving the tools and things like that. So I'm going to just jump into game creation really quick because we just did see a game and I just want to go into that. So here I'm just creating a campaign very quickly so we can get at it. I can create stories, I can create levels, you can combine them and just create, you know, a string of events. As you can see, this requires no real programming knowledge. It's just literally putting nodes together, and right now what I'm doing is actually just using the keyboard shortcuts for it, but you can just right click and do that. And so this is how you get by here, and this is a dialog graph. And if you wanted to, you can start getting a little bit more elaborate. You can add a flag, so this would be just some test value, let's just say. And you can add, for instance, this little flag here will happen and be added on the reward. I can check the flag later if test is greater than 1. I can set my dialogue here. Let's say that I'm talking to Big Frank. So Big Frank would say, "Good job. Good job, kid." If I was successful, and I would select Big Frank again and say, "Tough luck." If I didn't. So this is just a way that you can very quickly see how you can start creating things. There's a lot more tools, but I'm not going to get into right now. I plan on making a lot of these sort of videos as a tutorial. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to ability creation, because that's really the heart of the game here. And I want to talk about ability creation for just a little bit. So what we see here is a Shadow Bolt ability. Let's start with a Fireball. Or actually, let's start with... Actually, why don't we start from scratch? Let's start from scratch. So let's say that we're going to create a... Oh, I got another question coming in. Let's see. Will stuff be made... Oh, stuff in the alpha will carry over. The things that you make will, but the progress will not. So in other words, your creations will, but potentially the charms and how far you've progressed in the game may not. So next, let's see about creating a frost bolt from scratch. So let's just say it's a frost orb, but just to be a little different here. So the first thing that I can do is I can say how much action points it's going to cost. This is sort of the mana. I can also add a charge time. I can add cooldowns. I can add uses per battle. So here I would only be able to use it 3 times. And I can, of course, change the range. So I can do a range of ranges or set it to only 4 tiles away from me, etc., etc. I can make it ignore line of sight or be straight line only, like if I was doing a beam. And I can also come down here and toggle some area of effect. I can draw whatever shape I want for this. And that way I'm creating an AOE. You can also ignore line of sight for your AoE so that it works like a big explosion. So basically one that would be observing line of sight would be like an explosion with shrapnel, whereas one ignoring line of sight would be like a storm coming down from above, that kind of thing. So here I can also drag my origin. That's where the AoE comes from. And now we add effects. So let's just add a damage effect. And we're going to be doing, let's say, water. And one of the things that you're going to note real quick is that does not look like a good ability. 3 damage. Come on. So let's go select a character that can use this ability better. So we'll just choose our wizard, our standard wizard. And right away you can see 60 damage is a little bit more like it. So now what I can do is add another effect, and this is going to be a statistic. And it's going to be a debuff. And we're going to do a mobility debuff. So now I can adjust the weight of this. I'm actually adding more, or removing, in this case, power to mobility and adding the power back to the damage. So I can just balance this out however I want. I can come back to my damage, and I can add some variance to it. I can actually add duration to make it a damage over time, a dot. And then we can customize the look of this ability. So we can go and do, you know, let's just do ice. These are the images that are going to come with the game, but you can import your own, of course. You can customize the color of the trim. We'll just leave it like that. And then you can actually set the ability data. So here I can do something like Frostbolt for it. And then I'll see what it looks like. So if I didn't want it to throw a Frostbolt at each one of them and I wanted it to be different, I can do that by going to Ability Media Creation, or just editing here and bringing it back. So that's something that I'm not going to get into right now, because again, it's just a lot of things to get into, but I do want to show you what it'd be like to then add this Frost Orb, or any ability really, to a character. So we'll jump over the character creation. And here we can create new characters, or we can edit characters. So we can select a character to begin with, for instance, the wizard that we were working with. And we can look at his major strengths, his weaknesses. So that's just as you'd think. As I add a strength, it makes the thing that I added more powerful, but all the other stats suffer. Whereas the weaknesses are the opposite. These stats would suffer and everything else would become more powerful. I can add my own backstory. I can add a playstyle synopsis if I wanted to, when I'm going to share it. And here are my abilities. Here's my equipment. All of these things are fully customizable. I can come over to the visuals and import a new skin for him. I can set his animation style, so he can look like a beast, or he can be cute, or graceful, or he could be like a gunslinger, a swordsman, etc., etc. Now I've got another question coming in. Will there be more assets included when the game is released, or is this all there's going to be when it first comes out? There will be a few more assets. There's very, very extensive libraries of all the images and sounds already in there, but there are actually going to be more assets before the game is released. And of course, we will support the game with more assets post-release. So you can also customize victory animations, death animations, and the sounds like I was talking about over here. So you can change his voice. So I could select, let's just say that I'm going to make him sound like Gosselin. So now this is what my wizard is going to sound like.
If you're gonna walk, might as well frolic.
I don't know how that would sit with people, but that's what he sounds like now. And like I said, you can come over here and edit any of these things. So that's something that we can take a look at real quick. We'll just jump over to equipment creation. Equipment. We'll start with, let's start with this. Sure, we'll start with this gun. This is our Gunslinger X. And basically, the weapon that I'm creating here, I'm looking at as legendary rank. I can look at it as any of the ranks, but you're actually creating the legendary, and then it will drop according to, you know, where you are on the run. So if you're at the very start, it'll drop probably as common or uncommon, maybe even rare. So you only have to create things once, and all 5 of them will be created. But as you go, you can set different stats that would happen. So let's say when it's uncommon, I'm going to get this ability here. So all items can include an ability if you wanted to. That's up to you. You can clear it and just put a stat in there. So I could do something like, at first it gives you power, then it gives you power and aim, then it goes back to armor penetration, then it can give you something more specific like light power, and just go from there. And so now I'm crafting my own weapon over here. You can see the results. Like I said, I could clear the ability off of it, and it's just very, very customizable. This is a secondary weapon, so it goes on your offhand. But you can go primary, you can go two-hand, etc., etc. So now I got another question coming in from Hungry Puff. When will the character and campaign creation be available in the game? At launch. So that will be available. It's currently available, just not in the demo. So that's not something that we're still working on. This what you're seeing here is in the game, but it is just currently restricted to our backers who are helping us test these systems, getting them ready for launch. So now I'm going to hop back over to the game, get a little bit more game in so people who are just joining us can see it. I'll change my party around a little bit so that we can get some new characters in. I'm going to bring in Shaman, an Avenger maybe, and this is kind of cool. So you can have builds of your characters. If you just wanted to change one thing, you can just have it be a build of a character rather than having to start from scratch or litter a box with a whole bunch of different wizards. As you see here, we have a Sky Mage, we got a Rock Mage, Ice Mage, Fire Mage, and the regular wizard. He's all contained in this one little neat box, and I just scroll through them this way to get at my builds. Builds can be as different as you want or as similar as you want. So let's see, we'll go ahead and do an Ice Mage. That's fine.
Pick me.
Maybe we'll throw the Sarge in there for good measure. So we got another question coming in from Gargamel Gold. Could you make it so that some weapons only have legendary versions if you wanted to make them extremely rare? Yes, you can actually set the sort of drop rates on them. I don't believe you can set it to 100% always just that, but you can adjust drop rates, and you can also adjust which types of enemies will drop them. So, you know, you can assign something like a set of vampire fangs to a vampire, and then you can set it so that the vampire who's dropping those fangs only has a very small chance of becoming or being shown as a boss. So of course a boss is going to have a better chance of dropping a higher level piece of equipment. In your campaigns, you can also give rewards that are very specific, like that item. So if you had like Excalibur and you wanted to make that super rare, you wouldn't make a drop, you would just give it to someone through an event inside of your campaign. So we're going to get back at some gameplay here. And I'm just going through the same levels here because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't tried the demo. The demo includes the whole first campaign, so I do recommend giving that a shot. That's a lot of game right there. That's, you know, could be 12 hours or so of game that is included in just the demo. The game itself will launch with 2 story-driven campaigns. It'll launch with runs that are not story-driven, but just focus on gameplay. And it's also going to launch with a new campaign that no one's played before called the Wizard's Tower. The Wizard's Tower really is sort of the heart of the game. I would describe it as like the core game. It's where you take on the GM/creator of this game and try to climb his tower through a series of 25 mini campaigns and defeat the wizard. So here, this Frost Mage is very AoE driven. He's very powerful to begin with. As you go further through the game and things start becoming, you know, legendary enemies and stuff, it becomes a bit harder. for focus-based characters like this, for AoE characters to succeed as much as they do in the beginning, but at the beginning he pretty much rocks.
My magic is strong.
So there I'm laying that field. Anything that walks over this tundra here, this permafrost, is going to suffer minus 22 stability and 112 magic frost damage.
My wrath undoes the wicked.
So here,
The
I'm just gonna
light
get
will
Thorian
guide.
into position because I think he's gonna be all right there. Let's see what this wolf can do. He's just trying to break through to get
Break
by.
the ice.
Now Inuk is one of my favorite characters. He's a very powerful character. I'm gonna go ahead and
I will grant you fame.
cast Spirit of the Wolf for you EverQuest fans. But he's a very powerful character because he can summon these totems here. So not only are these totems going to be my allies that can do all kinds of things on their own, but they can also help block the enemy from proceeding any further unless they destroy those. And they were just destroyed, but not without pain for it, boar. So, oof. There goes my Frost Mage. And here he is again. So again, that was from that charm. I know some people may be new to the stream, so that is a charm that does that. Charms provide persistent gains. So Thorian has a reaction. He's reacting to being hit by using Avenging Strike. Here comes another boar.
Stay frosty.
Sarge is also a really cool character. He's going to be able to grant abilities and buff up his party. And so he grants this ability called Move, Move, Move. And that allows me to move more and gain more AP. So here we're going to toss a frag out.
Never is the magic of
But let's see what Orin does. He's confused, so he has a 50-50 chance of attacking either me or the enemy. And thankfully, he's seeming to be choosing the enemy. Okay, so here comes Thorian.
I bring the flame.
He's going to attack this boar with Rising Dawn, which lowers his defense and deals damage. And then he has this sort of combo attack that triggers off of any time that damage is dealt to an enemy around him. He'll continue to attack with Zeal Strike. And I'll finish that off with a self-heal.
Warm your hands by the fire.
So now if this boar wants to get by me, he's going to have to... Well, he's not going to get by me because that's going to be it. Okay, I got another question coming in. Will the animation system also allow to process multiple hits from AoE at the same time to speed up the game flow? Yeah, that is something that we're trying to speed up. As you may have seen before, it does do that with props. So it'll speed it up. They won't all happen at once because we don't want to suddenly create 10,000 particles. But
Another truck.
it will be able to speed things up significantly. You can also, of course, just do this, which is just fast forwarding. So here I'm at 2x speed. I can go up to 3x speed. So if you're wanting to get through things quickly, this is one way to do it. That's good for, big AEs mostly. So now I'm back to normal speed, and here comes my Storm Totem using Ancestral Bolt. And that's it for that wolf. So that's why Inuk is one of my favorite characters. He's got these two totems are very powerful. This one would protect me, and this one's going to do damage.
An instrument for justice.
After a fight, you could have more than one fight per level. I know I'm only showing one per level, but you could have up to 5. So the dungeons can get pretty big. Go ahead and give the armor penetration to the wizard. But after the levels, you're going to gain those level up books, and you can choose who gets them.
Fear no. The flame will never die.
Okay, so let's see. We got some bones, but we found that they had some strange wound that we didn't cause. on our way back to camp, and this is again something that we're showing for the first time, is this background image system. You can import your own backgrounds. Of course, you can import your own images here for the popsicle sticks. Write your own story, add your own sound effects. You can voice act if you wanted to, or just like as you're hearing here, just do little sound effects. I've thrown a canteen at my friend to wake him up. I apologize for critting him, but I did see a towel, or so I believed. And he says, now toss me an actual towel. I can't tell if I'm wet or bleeding. So now I'm here at this sort of loop where I'm in a camp and I can choose to do foraging, I can choose to cook, or I can choose to hunt. So let's forage first.
Pilgrims in an... Ah, the warmth.
And I have another question coming in. How many levels can you have in a campaign? I don't know the theoretical limit, but it is possibly endless. Where we have one of the runs is called Endless, and so you can just keep going up and up and up the levels to see how far you can go. That's just like kind of purely gameplay oriented. So now that we've gotten, let's see what we got from it. We got mushrooms and wood. Let's see if we go to our mushroom and try to identify it.
My wrath on...
Hopefully I won't roll a 1 this time.
Ah, the warmth
15,
of
that's
it.
good. These mushrooms check out. So let's go ahead and pop a cap. So these are statistic tomes. I can, during the run, of course, change this, well, not of course, I guess, but I can add these statistics here that I find. So focus is for AoE. I'm going to add it to my wizard. He's AoE. The spirit power is good for my shaman.
Wealth is
The
only
aim
worth its
is probably
use.
also going to be best for my shaman.
A boon to our cause.
Now, do you say shaman or shaman? I've heard it both ways. I've always said shaman. Now, reflexes are something that prevents you from taking a lot of damage from AoE. So this is going to be good for somebody that's kind of going in there. I'm going to go ahead and give it to my Avenger. So here it's just a little bit of story. I'm not going to focus on the story so that you can enjoy that on your own if you want to try out the demo, or of course when you get the game, hopefully.
A man may wear me.
But there is a story going on.
When the
Oof,
snow
barely.
melts, you shall see the waste we've laid.
So I foraged again. You can keep foraging, you can hunt, and as you do, time passes. This is again some of the sort of flags that I showed you. All of this is something that you can program with absolutely no knowledge of coding. It's just a little visual scripting that you do to string together your own adventures. That can be something like a D&D campaign. They can be something that's just like a interactive fiction, or they can just be a bunch of levels back to back with some challenges thrown in between, some modifiers. So something else that I'd like to mention is that you can add modifiers to any campaign that you've beaten before. So what that means is that all of the power that is basically in the system for campaign creation is available to you at that time. So you can add difficulty, you can add companions, you can make it hardcore mode, anything you want. Once you've beaten it once, it's yours to do with as you
The
please.
game is not what it seems.
Glorious day on the board. Don't serve me. I work for a living.
Alright, so here we're going to start with the Sarge's orders.
Suck it up, buttercup.
Alright, so I'm just going to throw a little frag here to get the party started.
Bag 'em and bag 'em.
I could technically try to do that again, but I think I'll just hold on to AP.
The eagle sees much when it is high.
So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to use move just for the AP there. AP is like your mana. It's represented in that little blue orb there. I've got another question coming in from Apols. I didn't try it in the demo, but could you have the same party member 5 times? Yes, you can. You can have 5 Sarges if you wanted. You could have 5 Magnors, Thorians, or anything you could want. You can have you can launch with just a single character. You can launch with 3 or whatever you want. We try to keep it as open-ended as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Spirit of the Wolf to Warren. And I'm gonna make sure that I have enough mana here for my Guardian Totem first.
Ancestors watch over us.
Should have enough for both, but that one is gonna be very important because I am gonna have to suffer some damage here potentially.
Spirits are
Another
gathering.
question coming in. You said these features were available pre-launch for backers only. Does that include Humble Bundle purchases, or is it only for people who backed while in the Kickstarter? It's anyone who has access to the alpha currently. If you, did back us through any means prior to this, basically it should have only been during the Kickstarter and immediately following the Kickstarter for sort of people who missed the campaign, then you can just reach out to me and I'll make sure that you've got the key, because yes, these features should be available to you. They're not available in the demo. And then the next question, can you create a campaign with more than one ending? I have a feeling that you won't be able to, but it would be really cool to add a lot of variety. Yeah, you definitely can. So the first campaign, this one that I'm playing right now, has multiple endings. I think it has like 15 or 16 endings. You can actually change the types of charms that you're going to give to players. So let's say that you had one ending that was the good ending or the kind ending, and the other ending was something that was,
Go back to the
I don't know, the wrathful ending. Then you can give power for one, support for the other, or dark power for one, light power for the other, whatever you might want.
My path is right.
And so basically the premise here is that not only can you end the game different ways, you can basically fundamentally change what it means to end the game. You can end the game in the middle of a run if you hit the wrong thing too many times. That can cause a game over. You know, you can do all kinds of things. This is a game, or this is a system that lets you basically make your own RPG. So if you think that it's something that can be done in an RPG, then it can be done in this system. Like I said, the only thing that it doesn't focus on is level design. So it's focused on gameplay and storytelling instead. And instead we use procedural generation to keep the levels fresh. You get to choose which levels you're going to be in. You get to choose the time of day, the atmosphere, which enemies will be in it, the size of it, all kinds of variables. But then the way that all of this is laid out, I didn't have to come in here and say, make sure that you put this little anvil next to a rock. I just procedurally generate the level. So now let's take a look at this little anvil here. And what this does is it allows me to rank up my equipment. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to the Sarge.
Stop to lean upon.
He doesn't really need more focus, even though focus can be helpful above 100%. It's not quite as helpful. I'm going to give, at this point, I can just look at the support that I'm getting. 14 for all of these, so I can just choose to sort of spread the wealth here and get a little bit more haste. That might be good. We'll go ahead and do that.
There is a
And
rich law to this item.
we'll give him just some water power. So that was an interactable prop. There's a lot of different types of interactable props.
I will pray for your
Some that allow you to modify your abilities, some that add stats, some that allow you to buy things. There's treasure chests, of course, and some that give you new abilities. So this is how to be more useful. I'm going to go ahead and give that to frags, so I can throw more frags.
humbly accept
And the
this.
slashing power will go to my Avenger, since he's the one that would use it the most.
I do not seek a righteous victory.
Oh, that was close. We got a skin from that. Later on, you can craft things using that. Now, the crafting system in this game is something that you just create on your own here, using the flag system. So I'm going to take a look at that. I've got bones, skin, wood, so I can then go to a node that allows me to the choice of creating something, whether it be something that's going to grant me bonuses to my stats or new items. It can be anything that you can imagine. It can even unlock new areas. Now it turns to evening. As you see, there was a light change there. That's something you can do for yourself as well. Maybe we can cook something else. Oh, there's more mushrooms.
Never turn your face.
Mushrooms can be
The
dangerous.
flame will never die.
Oh, okay. Well, another good to eat mushroom, so we'll pop that cap as well. and we'll get more
A boon to
books.
our
I can just double click them. So that's the quickest way to do things.
instrument for
But you can, of
justice.
course, drag them out and select who's going to get them.
This will aid our quest.
So we got another question coming in. Can I make items drop from multiple enemies, or is it limited to one enemy? You can make items drop from entire tile sets. You can make them drop just period anywhere, or you can make them drop from multiple enemies or just one enemy. So yeah, you get a lot of options to how items will drop. So now let's go ahead and rest. So now night will fall. As you see, the hour is late. The audio has changed, the lighting has changed. These are things you can do. You can import your own audio if you wanted to. You can import your own music. We'll light a fire. And now something stirs in the dark again.
I will fear no evil.
So here I've just chosen the camp tile set, but that way I don't have to actually come in here and create a little camp. It's just procedurally generated for me. It's a little different than last time if you've been watching the stream for a while now. So here it's telling me to watch my spacing. So I can right click on an enemy to gain more information about it. I can see everything about it here. And I see that he has a fireball that won't be usable the first time because it has, the first round I mean, because it has a cooldown of 2. So we don't have to worry about fireballs on the first round. But we do have to be concerned with them.
My wrath.
So let's see, this
undoes
is the guy that's going to go first. I can just hover over here and see who's going first. This wizard's going to be very powerful against these guys, but he may die from the damage reflect.
Don't
The
serve
Sarge, on
me.
the other hand, is not going to be too powerful. He uses fire, and fiends are very resistant to fire. So we'll see how things go. So there's the Zeal Strike. It's triggering off of the fact that I reflect a little damage, he took a little damage, and it triggers Thorian's Zeal Strike. So I took that down
Never
basically
turn
just
your
on a
face
reaction.
from the cold. Stay close. Redemption is at hand.
So right now I'm running it through AI. I can just press P to stop the AI.
Here.
So that was damage reflect on his
I
end
do
that
not
defeated
tip my hat.
Thorian there. But now he's ready to be killed by the wizard.
Cross. Bind you. The game is not what it seems.
So Inuk is also really good against these guys because he can actually just go ahead and summon these totems
Every package of
that will allow me to not have to suffer the damage. Instead, the totem takes the damage that is reflected from dealing damage to a fiend with damage reflect as soon as he's in range. So here comes the fiend. He's going to take out my wizard, and the wizard will be back with his res.
long have I watched man.
And that's going to do it for the wizard for good.
You know the drill.
So now the Sarge is going to
Here's the plan.
get my back here with Inuk. But unfortunately, I'm going to show you here, he can't do much to these Spitfires. See how I'm just dealing 1 to 2 damage because he deals fire damage, and these guys are very resistant to fire. So that's why you want to bring a party that's pretty well rounded.
We're moving.
My totems should be able to finish him off with hopefully the help of my Avenger.
Never turn
We'll
your
see.
face from the
As
cold.
long as he doesn't come and kill me. Okay. So here we go.
My path is right. Protect.
Let's see if he can take care of it, or if the Spitfire's damage reflect will win out. Oh, yeah, he got it.
Ah, the warmth of victory.
So that's probably like the first really hard battle in the game. I know sometimes it can own people that are not ready for it, but
A hammer blow against
once you know what you're doing, I think it's fairly straightforward to get through.
Respectfully, I ask for that.
we'll give more speed to Inuk. That'll help him with his initiative. That'll help him with getting more AP, more mana. So here we save, and now we're going to look at the map of the valley here. So we're going to be given the choice to go home or to go to Sweetwater. For the purposes of this, since we're going to have to keep it a little shorter. We're just going to head to Sweetwater. We run into a band of beastmen. And here's that background. There's a new system that we're still sort of working on implementing. I get the choice of what I want to say to this guy, but I'm just going to say, out of the way, foul one. I have no time for your litter. Cowers slightly. We're not afraid of you. Oh, you're not, are you? I'll show you what happens to twigs that cross me. I'm gonna intimidate them.
Pilgrims. I will pray for your soul.
So the beastmen scatter. I can choose to give chase or let him run. I'm gonna go ahead and let him run. And I come across circling vultures. A sun-bloating corpse is strewn in the middle of the path. These vultures aren't about to share their meat.
My wrath undoes the wicked. Never turn your face from the
All right,
cold.
so we'll deploy here. Looks like we get to go first, so this is really good for us.
Is the magic of man.
We get the Sarge here.
Another glorious day
This
on
can
the
be
board.
back here.
A man may wear many masks.
All right, so I'm gonna give Spirit of the Wolf to Thorian in this case.
Glorious is he comes, the wolf.
That increases his critical power and mobility. And I think we can go with a Storm Totem.
Feel it in the air.
It's a little riskier, but I think we got this.
Drop and give me 20.
So now what we'll do is some Sarge's orders,
Attention if you want to leave.
and we're gonna start throwing some frags, shooting some shotguns.
Keep it tight. Frag out.
That gets the party started. We can throw 2 frags thanks to that haste. And I got a shotgun. That one dropped a book.
We are pilgrims in an unholy
So I think
land.
Thorian can take this guy down. We're about to find out. Looks like he can. And remember, he's buffed with Spirit of Wolf, so here I'm basically putting 2 characters together. You may have
The
noticed
light
that one
will
dropped
guide
some
you.
bones. That's for crafting later on.
My path is righteous.
Long have
All
I
right, now
watched
let's see
man.
if Orin can bring us home.
Every step could be a spell.
Alia, I invoke you.
Not quite.
I still have faith in man.
Let's see if this is enough.
To the abyss.
I did it for him, but I think this vulture over here is going to survive, and he's going to be a little tough. We'll see. Maybe the Ancestral Bolt will finish him. Oh, no, couldn't reach him. Uh-oh. He made it. Oh, no.
Of my element.
Now you can see the vulture is a Ravager. They life siphon, so one hit and all that work is gone. Should have gone with the Guardian Totem. It was a risk. So now I'll pop the Guardian Totem here. That will cause a reaction that is going to do absorb damage. Ooh, that's a good one. Must have crit that. And this will make sure that that vulture does not life siphon me again, hopefully.
You know the drill.
I'm gonna go give some Sarge's orders to Thorian. It's the only way he's gonna get through. I'm gonna try not to trigger this guardian totem by stepping on my own field.
Keep it tight. Let the wizard sort them out.
Start working on that vulture again.
Some stands, people.
Looks like Thorian will have to walk through the field if I don't want him to
My
trigger it.
wrath undoes the wicked.
I'm just gonna go use him to heal. The Thorian is a paladin. He's a build of the paladin. The normal paladin is a lot more defensive. The Avenger is a lot more powerful. So we got another question here. Can you create a character? Can you make them bigger than 1 square? So no, actually that's the one thing you can't do. Everything occupies 1 square. So you can, in enemies you can make them small or big, but they still only occupy 1 square. I'm not gonna go ahead and stab through Orin. I don't want to be that mean to him.
I bring the flame.
The elements do my bidding.
Okay, now we're gonna see if we can slow this vulture down and get away from him.
My power is beyond your comprehension. I wonder if I'm lost.
That'll slow him down. But he's still gonna attack. So there's that absorb.
What is your major malfunction?
And so my guardian totem prevents the vulture from attacking my sergeant successfully, and so he cannot and did not do damage, so he does not actually life siphon, so that's what allows me to hopefully beat him now on this
You
turn.
know the drill.
And you can tell by his stand here, and if I hovered over him, you can see that he's a master ravager. So that's how you know how, like, what level
Get bent.
the enemy is. That'll do it for him.
When the snow melts, you shall see the waste we've laid. Sometime
I'll keep it safe.
So here I'm just going to do some equipping, quick equipping. Got a fashionable little
the
ensemble there.
I love the smell of loot in the morning.
So I picked up a library book while I was fighting those vultures. The overdue fees are going to be killer for whoever rented them, whoever checked it out. But I don't think they're going to mind because we're about to bury that person. Following day, storms blanket the valley. And I find a seated figure in the path. There, in the middle of the road, with nothing more than trees to either side and an empty stretch beyond, sits a cloaked figure on a black chair. The hood steeps the figure's face in shadow, but you can feel the chill of a watchful glare on your skin. I get the option of getting an axe. Nothing about this figure sits well, or I can go try to hail him. Let's be friendly. This guy looks friendly to me. Madness. You can't tell if the figure is speaking to you or merely in your direction. It won't be long now. You won't belong. Why do you sit here in the middle of this road? Parched. Parched. The waiting is almost done. I will trade trees for fire. You're thirsty? Do you need water? I'm such a nice guy. No, no more water. The well is too deep. Man switches between unhinged excitement and weak whispers in the same breath. This madness, it must be a malady. Still time for the axe. Or we can go around. Let's go around. It moves. You keep an eye on the figure as you sidle along the forest edge. Once you're beyond the figure, you creep back onto the path and watch in disbelief as the legs of the chair elongate, lifting to the treetops. The figure ragdolls from the chair as the whole thing stilts into the woods like a nightmarish spider. Something in these woods seems a little off. Next, we encounter an abandoned wagon. Early in the night, you come across a caravan that has been wrecked into a tree a good distance off the path. The words "Blessings for Sale" have been painted in gaudy red and gold on its side. So here I can search the wreckage, or I can try to deduce what happened. Harness the finite power of your mind to unravel the mysteries of the
You have
past.
pilgrimed.
Let's do that.
The
Oh,
flame
just
will
enough
never
mind
die.
power. The product of madness. The amulets of sweet water spill from the gash where the wagon met tree. Your neighbors brought these to purify their problems. Next to the amulets, clothing lay strewn in the grass. It's not torn or bloody. It seems to have been willfully discarded. Best to grab a pendant and leave before the owners return. So here I get another checkpoint, and I get to go to the Gates of Sweetwater. A few mercifully uneventful days later, you arrive at the Gates of Sweetwater. They've grown taller since you last visited. So I can try to sneak in, find a nice quiet place to scale the palisade, or I can just all out to the gatekeeper. Let's do that, since I'm not a rogue. A man possessed of curly locks peers over the palisade. Halt! The gates of Sweetwater have stood for eons beyond remembrance, and you shall not breach them now. Enough! You let your voice echo for a while. So that's a little reference to Diablo 2, in case anyone missed that one. If you do not open this gate, you'll be forced to act forcibly. Do your worst, but be warned before you stands a centaur. So consider your actions carefully. Or half centaur. A half centaur? Show me your legs. Grumbling, the man lifts his leg over the wall. Nice enough gams, but no hooves. I did say half centaur. You scratch your head a bit. I suppose that adds up. I've never seen a horse with curly hair. Indeed, I am a rare breed. Is there anyone else in town we may speak to? Our business is urgent. Business, you say? Do you have official business with the Von Imps? We have official business, you say, holding up the amulet of Sweetwater. So now I have to roll for deception
I
here.
do not seek a righteous victory.
Looks like I've deceived the half centaur. It's official. They're buying it. Well, that's a pony of a different color. May I provide you an escort to Von Imp's manor? That is kind, but we do not require it. Or, that would be lovely. Let's not require it. Are you certain? Von Imp's manor lies beyond the cemetery. The escort is for your own safety. Cemetery, you say? On second thought, some additional company might be nice. These men should see you through safely. He motions to a couple of guards who in turn look around and slowly point at themselves before stepping forward with an audible gulp. Your escorts appear reluctant to guide you into the mist ahead. So I can try to cut the escort short. The guards seem distracted. This might be a good opportunity to prematurely discontinue their contracts. Nothing says your services are no longer required, like a dagger to the back. Or I could duck away. And the last option is to go into the thick. The guards hurry you through the dreary square and down a winding dirt path. The words "Moat of the Dam" have been scrawled into a sign for the Sweetwater Cemetery. Mist grows thick ahead. The guards visibly tremble as you enter a graveyard that sits like a moat around the hill. There are many more graves than a town of this size would need, and the stones look recently cut.
I will fear no evil.
Deathclaw. Kangaroo. So here is this
My
champion
wrath
is,
undoes the
as you can see, a seemingly just an enemy, but in this case he's on my team. That's the escort that was provided to me. So he is not going first, but I can toss him in wherever I'd like to
I will
just
fear
soak
no
up some
evil.
damage for me, since that's part of his responsibilities. Now this Kangwaru here is really dangerous. So I've got to be very careful with him, and he can hop right over my champion. So I'm going to try to move as far away as I can from
Anyone got some
him.
tape? Stay frosty.
A man may wear many masks.
Don't serve me. I
I
work
do
for
not
a
And
living.
let's hope that he doesn't obliterate me. This death clock is probably going to give him haste, so he's going to be very dangerous. We'll see how things go. Yep, 124% haste. And he's going to age my champion. So the champion reacts with Night's Watch. Doesn't do too much to the clock, but... Oh no. That's not good.
I had a bad feeling about this drop.
I agree. I had a bad feeling about this drop too. So I'm back, but I'm confused. This is going to be a tough fight. And that haste is real killer right now. Oh, and just so everyone who's watching this is aware, I'm playing on a very high difficulty because of the charms that I'm using. Your run won't be as hard as this for the first time you play.
Birds of a feather.
Never turn your face from the cold.
Okay, so my goal is to stop that Kangwaru from wiping out my entire party.
I walk through the
So I'm just going to focus on him, even though it'd probably be better to take that skull and crossbow out. I have to try to beat Kangwaru if I can.
The sky is always
Let's see if it's enough. I don't know if it's going to be enough. And I have no control over the actual Storm Totem's actions. So he may not target the Kangwaru, and if he doesn't target Kangwaru, we're in trouble. We'll see. Comes down to this. And I don't think he's going to be able to kill him even if he does target him. Oh!
We are
Oh,
pilgrims
no.
in an unholy land.
Down to 1 HP. Oh, that's not good. Let's see if I can at least taunt. Oh no.
Redemption is at hand.
0 chance. This champion is not good for this. I've been given a
Stay
bum
close.
escort. So there's the Guardian Totem. It might possibly keep me alive, but that Kangwaru is gonna wipe us out, I'm pretty sure. Here goes. My poor champion's taken all of the debuffs over there. So here comes Kangwaru. He's gonna take out Inuk. Inuk will be back, but then he's got shotguns. We'll see. Okay, good. Instead gave me some sneezy cake. That's fine. Do sneezy cakes.
Can I interest you in some marble? Ready, set.
And so this guy over here I'm not too concerned with. He's a tiny little guy. You can tell by his stand over here, he's a novice. So again, I'm going all in on this Kangwaru. I'm just trying to end him as quick as I can. The world just lost another Hulkamaniac.
My path is righteous.
A man may wear many masks.
Okay, so we're doing alright now. I'm gonna do another Storm Totem and see if I get an elite one. This one is just a regular, an adept. So this is an elite. You can tell by their stands here. You can also tell by their badges.
You can howl if you want to.
So I'm gonna buff that totem up. Drop another Guardian, and you can see one of the things I talked about here about Inuk that's really nice is that you're able to sort of create a wall of totems for yourself to keep yourself protected.
My wrath undoes the wicked. Stay close.
We'll just take this Undertaker out. And we'll try to keep this Death Clock
Your
taunted.
faith is weak.
Oh, there goes the react there. Roll back. But I did get the taunt off. I could try to guard a totem, but I don't think I'll do that. So one of the nice things about this champion is he is a bit of a tank, so even though he doesn't do too much damage. Ooh, that's piercing shot really got me there. Here comes Inuk.
When it is high. Come on.
Oh, he's still alive. He's got like 1 HP left. Now this death clock can just cast death on my champion will die in 2 turns unless I dispel him. So I would have to summon another guardian totem. I don't know if I'll have enough time, but I can end this skull and crossbow. He explodes when he dies, but I should be able to take that on the chin. Oh, that's a nice little totem there. I can cleanse my champion. I hope this will take care of it. This might take care of his death. No, it didn't quite burn all the way through, I don't think. No, he still has Doom on him, but I might be able to take care of it. So now I've lost control over Inuk. He's lost his mind, but by the time it's his turn again, I'll have control over him.
Stay close.
So here comes the champion, and I've gotten rid of that aging, so that's going to keep me alive. I'm going to guard my Avenger. So if you are guarded, that means all of the damage that Thorian takes goes to my champion. He's pretty safe. Comes that death clock. Alright, so that's a debuff there. The Guardian Totem will take care of it. Uh-oh, there goes a big slow for my Guardian Totem anytime that he uses an ability. Okay, so there, anytime I use an ability, I'm going to trigger an extra cooldown. That's what that clock meant there. But I can get rid of that for next turn. And we're going to do a Spirit of the Wolf on my champion. And try to keep Inuk back, because he's got 11 HP. Oh, there goes the death. Forgot about the death. So now I'll move here so that the push won't affect me. And I'll give myself a Spirit of Wolf. And retreat. This Death Clock is a manipulator. So he has that death ability, but he doesn't actually deal damage. So I'm actually pretty safe, even at 11 HP. So now if I move here and attack from here, I should be safe. I'll keep him Spirit of Wolfed up. And one of the things that I just need to have happen now is to run out of that slow that he gave me. So as you can see, sudden death started here. So sudden death is going to make it so that things, defenses go down and etc. to just keep things from becoming, for taking too long. So there on round 7, I bring it home.
No, the catch is bountiful.
And those are some good pieces of equipment. So this graveyard here has 2 encounters. You can see
Netflix and kill.
You can see the different enemies that come in.
The eagle sees much when it is high.
So this time, I don't think there's a Kangwaru. This Thrilla-Kill is pretty hardcore. This Teen Girl is very suspicious. I wonder what she's up to. And this Ghost can do some real damage too.
Long have I
We'll try to start this way.
I will fear no evil. My wrath undoes, for I do not seek glory.
So right now, those 2 are using the same voice pack because we haven't recorded all of the audio, but they will have different audio. So I could do this AE totem, but what I'm going to do is try to keep my distance.
I will grant you praise.
And just start dropping some of these totems here, storm
The
totems.
sky is always watching. Effort is the magic of man.
And we'll do a permafrost, maybe? Let's see, what does an ice storm look like? Yeah, I'm gonna have to do permafrost.
I wonder if I'm lost.
I'm gonna open up this channel here. But obviously with a whole bunch of fields to stop things from coming through. This is not
Never
too much
turn
to
your
be worried
face
about.
from
It's just
the
a little
cold.
guy. I'm wondering if I should go in. I guess
walk through
I
the
will,
valley.
just for the fun of it.
Redemption is at hand.
And so I'm gonna just go ahead and retreat
bring the
again,
blade.
because I don't have enough AP to do
I'm
much.
a vegetarian. Get me Joe Estevez's people on the horn.
What is she up to? Uh-oh, she summoned a Thriller Killer. But he can't go anywhere because of this field. Oh, Moanwalk. So right there, he dodged backwards when my totem wanted to hit him with that Ancestral Bolt and actually got out of range. That was a reaction. So we'll do some Sarge's orders here. Looks good.
That's yes, Sergeant. You get paid by the hour.
Now let's start seeing about this. Frag looks pretty good. Finish him off with a shotgun.
Let the wizard sort him out.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
We are pilgrims in an unholy land. Put your faith in the light.
I'm probably going to use this champion to shield and keep him safe. Or actually Thorian, because he's probably going to go in.
Divine faith.
I'll just move him into position.
The light will guide me.
I'll keep him safe for now. Here comes Thriller Killer. Uh-oh. Okay, I resisted the death. Just thrill me to death.
Wear many masks. Never lose spirit.
So we are going to do a buff on Thorian and drop some totems. So here comes a Storm Totem. These ignore line of sight, so it's no big deal if you block them off. But I'm going to protect myself by dropping a Guardian Totem. And I'll hold on to the Arctic Totem for now.
Rocking my tracks. There's a storm on the horizon. You shall not pass.
You better fix the pandemic.
Now we're gonna do Winters here. Give everyone frost weapons. And then hide behind this
I do
tombstone.
not seek glory.
Then I gotta be very careful about the way I attack this Thriller Killer. I know he's gonna moan walk backwards away from me, so I'm going to, if I attacked him the wrong way, maybe he would retreat. I'm gonna attack him so that he would be retreating against this gate here. Oh no, so he just goes backwards. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get here and just trigger my Zeal Strikes. Zeal Strikes should do massive damage because it's we're using light damage. So you can see the thrust does very little against him because it's physical piercing, and the other, of course, does a lot more damage to him because it's magical light, and he's an undead. So I got another question coming in. Can we make buffs that only affect a single ability instead of a whole character, like a chain gun that becomes more powerful with each activation? That is something we've talked about, and it is something that we might consider for post-release, because we want to, of course, add more mechanics. And there she is turning to Wolf. We want to add more mechanics post-release, but initially, very likely at release, that won't be one of the things that you can do. But it is something we're looking at. Oh, so that was a pretty good lightning strike. And now she turned my my totem into a tiny little wolf pup. Look at this. Oh no, I'm a little werewolf. Oh, it's enough to trigger
Seen any bad movies lately?
my reaction.
You know the drill.
And I think the Sarge can bring us home. We'll see. Definitely beat this.
Got a present for you.
So we took care of the Thriller Killer. And now we're gonna do Sarge's orders and hit that teen girl with a shotgun. I got a shotgun. And another shotgun. This one's for close encounters.
My wrath undoes the wicked.
Use Siege Breaker to bring us home.
And what with cult, the ambulance?
And that does it for the graveyard, I believe.
Keep it up, me.
That's a fat beauty.
A new shotgun.
May he who illuminated this.
And a really nice paladin symbol there. So when this is glowing red down here, it means that there's still some interactable prop somewhere that exists in this level. So that's right here, this little sort of scrying orb, little crystal ball.
I could use a new stop to
Hey,
You get to
I'll buy
choose
that. Hey,
what kind of
use some of my love.
stats you want to get out of it.
And where what you killed.
This looks
I'll
pretty
buy
good.
that for $1.
Yeah, that's good.
I
So it'll give
love
firepower to the Sarge, water power to the Ice
Only
Mage,
worth its use.
aim
I'll
to...
buy that for $1.
And then we'll actually give the defense to the Avenging Paladin just to even things out.
The flame will never die. Waste not
And the
one
music
battle.
that you're listening to, all of the music that you'll listen to in the game, with the very, very small exceptions of a few little pieces of fanfare that you'll hear a second campaign, come from Gabriel Lefkowitz, our very talented composer. So here, our intrepid escort is sinking into a grave, so I can just sit there and say, my, what an inhumation. Or I can say, give them a hand. I can salute them, stand at attention and salute. We'll go ahead and give them a hand because we've
Never turn
been
your
role-playing the
face.
good guy here.
Ah, the warmth of victory.
So we saved him. We yanked the bewildered guard out of the dirt, and he's been scared half to death. So we call him Turnip. We say, safe travels, Turnip. You call out, unable to recall the man's name. And I'll just give you guys this last hint here as I bring this to a close, is you never know when Turnip will turn up again. Next step would be the house on the hill, but we'll leave that for you to explore. Now we'll end the run and see if we got a token for a charm. We did. This is a painted plastic charm, so it's like level 2 basically. We'll see what kind of charm we get out of this. Speed. So this will increase all the speed, the mana, and initiative rolls by 1. I just wanted to show you this. I'm going to get another painted plastic charm here. So you can purchase tokens using the gold that you collect from runs. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and combine charms here. So I'm going to combine speed and mobility. See what I get. So I got a bronze charm of resistance. You can come over here and look that some special combinations of charms will actually yield a specific kind of charm, and you'll learn recipes. As you learn them, they'll be listed here, and you can then combine your charms to create new charms of specific kinds. So that's basically it. I'm going to give you another look at the character select for those that have just joined us recently. Here you can control the campaigns. Here you can control the games. So each game can control or can have multiple campaigns within it. If you see these little runes beneath your character, that means that they have multiple builds. You can scroll through them to basically get new characters. Builds can be as different or as similar as you want them to be to the original. If you've beaten a run before, one of the things that you're going to notice is this mode button pops up. So there you can add things like difficulty, companions, go hardcore mode, give yourself better equipment, randomize the enemies, whatever you want. You can set up any mode that you can think of can be done there. And then last thing I want to show you is you can click on this button here to search the Steam Workshop. Right now it's searching. And you can actually just go through here and look for different characters, in this case, that have been uploaded. So we got Darth Vader's, we got TF2, we got Bomberman, we got Zarya from Overwatch, Solid Snake, Parappa the Rappa. Got all kinds of things that have already been uploaded here. We have 9 pages of characters that you can download. Each of these, like the turtles here, can contain their own artwork, their own special abilities, their own voices. Anything really goes. You have all of the tools that we do for creating your own characters. So just to show that to you one more time, you pop over here and you can start with one of our characters and customize them and save them as new if you wanted to, or you can start from scratch. You have all kinds of options. You can change your stats, you can change your abilities, you can change your equipment, and all of the visuals, from the way that it's animated to the skin itself, and of course the sound as well. These abilities, of course, are ones that you can create yourself. One last look at that. So here you can create your own abilities. You can start with ones that already existed, or you can just create your own. So here is the way you would do that. You can add logic up to 4 things, whether they be reactions, conditions, positives, negatives. You can control the area of effect, the amount of action points that it takes to activate, the times you can use it, the range, of course, or range of ranges, and then all of the cosmetics, from the actual effects that will play when the ability happens to the way that it looks on the card, whether it be the image itself, which you can select from a library or import your own, and the trim and all of that. You combine all of these things together into games, which you can create on your own. So here, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to create a short little layout of a game. You can put together challenges. That's so that you roll dice to see how things go. You can do rewards, you can do punishments. I'm just using keyboard shortcuts, but you can, of course, just use a right click and do it that way. You can add dialogues, and you can start getting more sophisticated with flags. So name it whatever you want and add it wherever you want. So in this case, we can make it so that if you failed, you get this flag here. And after having a little conversation here, which you can just add a bunch of dialogue nodes, set your speaker to party leader, set your speaker to a specific enemy or one that you create. So here we can set, I'm talking to Sir Hiss over here, a histocrat. And of course I can add the text that I want them to say here. And then after that, I can add my checks to say, hey, if you failed the first time, you're going to go to this level. Or if you didn't, you don't have to go to that level. And this dialogue graph here would just maybe tell me what's going to happen next. I can actually also have it trigger inside of a level, but that starts getting a little bit more advanced. So just be sure to follow us, and I'm going to be posting a bunch of tutorials on how to do this. But as you can see, this is requires no programming knowledge, but you can actually program your own games this way. You can create anything from interactive works of fiction, your own personality quizzes, or you can just make a string of choices of different levels that you would want to go to, or whether you'd want to do a challenge to avoid a level, or whatever you want to do. Anything goes. Anything you can imagine goes. And so that's going to be it for this stream. I thank you for joining us and giving us your time. We really appreciate it. We've been working on this game for 7 years. And it's not just a game, it's a game system that will permit players to create their own everything. So we look forward to seeing what you create. And thank